From the center of the galaxy, this here be ForceCenter live on a Friday. I'm Ken Knapsack for a special edition of the show, the podcast, the YouTube channel, whatever you want us to be right now. I'm here with you. Where's Jennifer Landa? Where's Joseph Scrimshaw? Well, they're both busy with life, so you're stuck with me. And I'm sure you're thrilled about that. Here's how the show's going to work. We're going to be here for about an hour, and I want your calls. That's right, your phone calls. Well, you know, kind of phone calls. It will be a situation in which you get to call into the show to, I got to make sure I get the right setup here in my own backyard here. You're going to call on in, and I am going to bring you in here, and we are going to take your calls, and I think I'm going to be able to. I'm looking at what I did here. Yeah, okay, we're gonna do that live. That's what the problem is. Live. You might have to be camera ready. Who knows? Maybe it's cameras. I forgot to set up this screen. I'm going to do that on the fly. But one of the things, there's some things I want to get to today. I want to celebrate The Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. What are some of your favorite moments? What are the things you're looking forward in the picture? What are some of the things maybe you're feeling a little worried about? And we'll go from there on that. I also have a Q&A. It's spooky season. Not just a call for questions. What's a Star Wars Halloween costume you'd like to pull off? Not the ones that you had a chance to pull off back in the day when you were a kid, when you just got a little plastic mask and you were suddenly C-3PO. I'm talking about the actual Halloween costumes you've always dreamed of pulling off. And yeah, it does look like, just to make it clear, I think I'm gonna have to do camera ready, because I had not set this up for me to do this alone. That's my bad. So if you're gonna call in, you gotta know. Boom. Your camera better be fired up and ready to go. Or if it's just a blank screen, I'll take that as well. But for the audio listeners, you're like, it's no difference to me. Sean Monk asked the question, how do you call in? It is Patreon only. So that is kind of how we curate the call list. You can go ahead and get into the Patreon page at patreon.com/ForceCenter. There's a post that has the link here today. Michael McCarcel says he needs to put on a shirt. I mean, I guess shirt's optional. I'm not a YouTube content moderator here. I don't know. Nick's here. Nick84 saying Friday, we made it. Quad Faces here. Is Grogu a nervous eater? He's always eating. I think maybe he's a nervous eater. I think it's one of my favorite things about Grogu is that he's down to snack. And as someone who is doing this show with no lunch in his belly right now, I'm thinking about snacking here as well. Dr. Professor says so any caller should put pants on beforehand. And it's up to you wherever your camera ends is all I need for the clothes. You just cover up there. Todd Roy checking in from Nova Scotia. Michael Garces will bring more viewers. There you go. JJ says I get to be here because of the government shutdown. Howdy. Well, I guess that's one way to do it. That's one way to look for the bright side. Always look on the bright side of government shutdowns. Todd Roy first in here says the Mando and Grogu trailer was great. Also take questions live here in chat. Already got a super chat coming in here that definitely helps support the show, but it's not necessary to join the conversation. This is kind of a Star Wars Ask Me Anything here today, so hang out with you on a Friday. Thank you, Mike McCarcel says just sending in support to start things off. I appreciate that. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, Jen and I, on Tuesday's news episode. Joseph and I talked about it a little bit, with all the Kimmel stuff going around it. We didn't focus on it. I am still very excited for this film to hit theaters. I'm still very excited for just knowing that there's the experience of going out to see Star Wars in a large group. And that's always a little dangerous. I have to own a little bit of anxiety of when I am in a theater watching a Star Wars film. No matter how big the audience is, there always seems to be some who's just showing up there to kind of hate and take away from the experience of others live in living color right there. So, but I'm excited for all that. Excited for it as well. So, but I want to know from you all specifically things that you liked in the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. We'll also take other questions, like I said, and we got one from our buddy Todd Roy up there in Nova Scotia. Says, is the Rey movie still on? Look, I don't know that. I don't think anyone can predict that, and that's unfortunate because so much was put into it. And so much was made of it coming out of London. And I still believe it. I'm trying to be honest and sober with the view on it. It just, the picture got so crowded. The movie scene picture in Lucasfilm got so crowded and got crowded fast. It was already crowded. There's always going to be things in development. I don't think, I think at some point maybe they had an opportunity to bring in Kinberg and look to the future. And I have said this about the proposed or the alleged, not alleged, it's happening. That's not the right term. But the proposed talked about, much bandied about Kinberg trilogy, for lack of a better term. I don't know if I don't remember or know he's writing and producing and creating all, but I think you'll have other writers and directors on them. I really think that opportunity came up. It's an opportunity they wanted to grab onto. I actually, for the most part, really trust Kinberg in Star Wars. His track record outside of it might vary for each of you. I don't have a dog in that fight because I concentrate mostly on Star Wars when it comes to these kind of things. I absolutely think he was key in early Star Wars Rebels. He was going to be key in a lot of the stuff happening back in 2014, 2015. He moved on to other things. I think now they have an opportunity to work with someone they trust. And specifically when I say work with someone they trust, I'm looking at Dave Filoni and Carrie Beck, who worked hand in hand with him on Rebels. They know what he's able to do. They know what he wants to do in Star Wars. They trust him. And I think with Beck and Filoni, which sounds like a great early 70s folk rock duo, they again adjusted on the fly, which they're not calling an audible at the line of scrimmage. I think this is just something that as it built, we can go for. I think it steps on a little bit of the proposed New Jedi Order film, the Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy led, directed film starring Daisy Ridley that, again, they made quite a do about it. And the updates have been few and far between. I think some of the bigger updates have come from Daisy Ridley herself, and we haven't heard one for a while. I have no direct connection to any of the rumor mills and scoop slides, if you will, into the sandbox of internet gossip. But I do hear some things, and I think some of the stuff might lend me to think that this so-called Rey film will be absorbed and part of the Kinberg trilogy. I still look at the Kinberg trilogy, though, and this is the only thing that maybe makes me think that wouldn't happen, or that I wouldn't want that to happen, is that the Kinberg trilogy to me, whether it's 10, 11, and 12, not even cared about the episode numbers, it is still a trilogy for a generation that's not even ready for Star Wars yet. I forget what's after Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and what's beyond that. I don't know. You all could tell me. You all make that happen. But I still think that Kinberg trilogy is for a generation that will be getting Star Wars a little bit later. And I think you want the Rey film a little bit before that. I think you have Daisy Ridley at a different time, or the perfect time to do it. And later on, you'd have a different time. So I still think that's where there's some hope. But all this is just complete guesswork on my part and hope. So I'm really looking forward to the Rey film. I do have a call lined up here. Again, if you want to call into the show, become a Patreon supporter. I will say it is going to be, I'm going to remind everyone again, it is a camera-ready show today. So if you don't want your face on the show, that's okay. Just go ahead and you can keep your camera off. I'll just take the audio. Who cares what it looks like here on the screen? We've got this question coming in here from Pankaj. Am I saying that even close to being right? Probably not. Pankaj. I am an American asshole. How do you feel about the future of Star Wars movies? I actually feel really darn good. I absolutely feel good about it. Because I think in the end, whether intentional or not, and we know with some of the other projects that were in the works, it's probably the long pause between Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian Grogu. was not super intentional. But I think it ends up serving as a good pause. And I think coming out of the gate with The Mandalorian and Grogu, it's not just simply safe. I think it's just a fun idea and will be, I think, perfectly timed. I know I've mentioned before in this post-Andor world that you're going to have a lot of people, and do have a lot of people, pushing against the idea of some of the good old-fashioned Star Wars fun that The Mandalorian and Grogu will be. But I think that is not even a small minority. I just think that is a certain section of fans, and I think the larger audience is going to be ready. And I'm not saying this cynically, ready for a Baby Yoda, ready for that Mando guy, and I think it's going to go well. I also do love that we have the Avengers stuff, the Marvel stuff being pushed off a little bit. We don't have that Solo kind of repeat that we had back, a repeat of what we had in 2018. So that's a good way to kick it off. And after that, yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things we don't quite know. But then we go into Starfighter, and I do think there's some safety in that pick. And I don't enjoy all the ideas that go into that safe pick. I wish they would take, a bigger swing with a Rey Skywalker film. But I'm going to bet on Gosling. I think we all should bet on Gosling. I think the movie is going to surprise some people. I'm looking forward to that. And if those two are number one and number two hitters, sorry for the sports metaphors today. It's NFL season's in full swing and Major League Baseball playoffs are going off. Apologize. I think those, a leadoff hitter and a good number two hitter, I think we're set up for a good run here. And I also think the pulling back on streaming I think streaming has failed in a lot of ways, not just with Lucasfilm, Disney, but I just think we're looking at it now. It's not the Shangri-La that was promised. Disney Plus raising prices again. I mean, again. And it's getting to the breaking point for a lot of us. Whether you want it or not, you might just not be able to afford it. I think the idea of now the studio like Lucasfilm being able to focus on the pictures, being able to focus on the big screen, I think is a good thing as well. Dr. Professor says Gosling is enough. That's true. He absolutely is. JJ Hawkins says non-responsible speculation alert. Mando gets taken out in the first act and Grogu goes on an adventure by himself. I love that. Neil Hanstock says, yeah, well, there was 10 years between episodes 3 and 7. And you know what? Those 3 years, those 10 years, excuse me, seemed like so long. It's crazy to think that that's all we had. And we're almost there by the time we get to Mandalorian Grogu. Brian Ward's here. If you ever seen some podcast art out in the world that you like, Brian Ward probably did it. Follow Brian Ward on social media, especially his Midnight NAS account, where he puts out wonderful photoshopped art of Neil from Skeleton Crew appearing in other parts of Star Wars where we do think he belongs. Brian Ward says Andor Season 3 is happening in real life. So give me Muppets and droids of wackiness on screen. I absolutely think there is some truth to that. I'm not, and we got calls from Sean, we got calls from Detective McCarson lined up here, so get your cameras ready, boys. I want to be clear about this. I am not predicting, nor do I think, that The Mandalorian and Grogu will have a New Hope 1977 happening all over again. It's not necessarily going to be that. We're also just in a different era. We are siloed off with our entertainment. We don't have enough money to spend on going to the movies every week. And that was the case a few years ago, and it's even more the case now. But I do think there are some parallels that I look at with 1977 and what was going on at the time there. And we've all seen Empire Dreams. We've all seen the newsreel montage of Vietnam War, Nixon, the gas crisis, hostage crises, civil unrest, the carryover of what happened in the 60s still being dealt with in the 70s in terms of social upheaval and social change. We still have all of that, and the movies reflected it. I can't believe I'm kind of quoting Seth MacFarlane because I don't know if I have the full context of the quote, but I did see something on Instagram this week of MacFarlane on an interview saying there's a lot of great shows out there, without a doubt, but they're all kind of bleak, they're all kind of dark, and they're all kind of dealing with important things, as I think they should. I continue to love Andor even more and more for what it said and what it does, and hopefully it can help change some minds and open up people's eyes to what's going on in the world. But also there's something to be said for hope. Even me as a comic who sometimes like to get serious on stage, years ago, my mother, hearing of some joke I was trying to do, and I was telling her it just wasn't working, she was like, yeah, don't forget some people also just like to laugh. And there's always that balance. This is also not me endorsing Jimmy Fallon's, I'm just keeping my head down and not telling any political jokes, kind of hit both sides thing that he said earlier this week. I'm not that. But you also have to entertain. And I think New Hope, with its very powerful anti-Vietnam, in a very direct sense, but very political message, was wrapped up in the Saturday morning fun of a serial adventure. We all know the tale. Again, we've all seen the docs. But it struck a chord. It hit this special lane in the zeitgeist. And again, I'm not predicting the Mandalorian Grogu is going to repeat that. But I think it's going to surprise people that, in general, people are just going to go have fun with it. And I think that's okay. I still run into people. Again, I always feel I have to say this. I think Andor is an important show, even beyond Star Wars. I think it's the best thing technically done in Star Wars right now. It's not necessarily my favorite, but that's my point. As much as I think so highly of it, and it deserves all the accolades and deserves more, and is important. Andor is an important show. I know a lot of people in my life are like, yeah, I tuned out. I didn't get past like the third episode. Was that good? I tried. And these are people who, are Star Wars fans in that sense. They might own a couple Target t-shirts with the Millennium Falcon on it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that's what Lucasfilm has to balance, and that's why I think this is a good pick. All right. Are you guys ready? I think we are. Let me check, see. Sorry if I miss comments. If I miss comments and you have a question you want to get answered, please just ask it again, because I might miss it. So let's fire up the old cameras and take some calls. Breaking new ground. Your faces on ForceCenter. Again, unless you're listening to the audio podcast, then it's just our wonderful voices. Sean coming in first. Sean, how are you doing, buddy? How are you doing? Yes.
I'm doing good. I can't believe that I'm calling in right now. Fridays are my usual day off, and I saw you guys went live. I had no idea it was a call-in show. I was a patron in 2020 and stuff like that, but tough times, everything like that. But I literally had not to say that's my last money, but I had $5 in my account. So I joined right when you said it's Patreon only. Because I said, what the hell?
Sean, first of all, I absolutely love you for that. And if you need to call and then duck out and you support later on because you need to go get a sandwich tonight, let me tell you something I understand, buddy. But I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just can't. I'll say first, I can't. I mean, I have Why We Love Star Wars right there, but I go back like day one, the news with Ken. I was way too young to be probably watching back then, but
probably
like Toad Hop Studios or with AfterBuzz and everything like that. That is like where I know you from, and to watch you from there through Collider, through everything has just been awesome. And I want to thank you and Joseph and Jen, absolutely, for which I love the Jen and Ken episodes that we've been getting. Just for, I feel like in your own way, in your each individual viewpoint, getting it right. And I literally do the classic, like, I mean, I feel like if people tuned in, it would be like we're on a self-help line, but like I tell people in real life, engage with the story presented to you, because it's like, I just had this amazing conversation with my coworker last night about the Dark Knight trilogy and about how there's so many great themes that are paid off through that. And it's really through the lens that you guys looked at Star Wars and the decade that I've been listening to that has really, in a, I won't say like, tunnel visioned me, but has definitely influenced the way that I like to approach stories and stuff like that. So I want to thank you for that.
First, let me just jump in and say you're welcome, and I'm humbled in saying that you're welcome. It is certainly a team effort here with the three of us, and I don't know if we always get it right, but we get it right for what we who we are, and try to stay true to ourselves. I also feel the same way about you. Feel the same way. Well, I do feel the same way about you as a supporter, but feel the same way of what you're saying of just like this show has changed me even as a person outside of the podcast. And I just love getting into conversations about Star Wars that are productive for the heart and the soul, not for the movie critic side or not for the sport of talking pop culture. I love having those conversations that affect people. I had one in my own life recently where I was just talking about Andor, something related to his sister and why he never found her and why Tony felt that was appropriate for the story. And that my friend broke down. He's a casual fan, but he loved Andor and he broke down crying because it affected his life. Just talking about it affected his life in such a positive way. That's why we're here, and that's why ForceCenter exists. But it only exists because of all of you.
Yeah. My question, and then I'll get out of your hair, is I have been the first time ever using Facebook Marketplace because the area that I'm about to ask about has gotten so expensive that my first secondhand Lego set that I bought is the Grogu in the pram. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on whatever viewpoint you have on Lego Star Wars, the sets, the video game. What is your relationship with Lego Star Wars? And it's now technically we're in like the 26th year of it, but just looking back, what is like a favorite set of yours or just how you feel about it in general?
I absolutely love it. I am a old school Lego kid. I think the first Lego sets I had were the 79 Space Lego sets. I was maybe too young to appreciate those, but then by the early 80s, I was collecting. I loved City. I loved Castle. I loved all the kind of sets you get, but I was obsessed with Space Legos. And I know it's Lego. Sometimes you add an S, folks. I get it. I still have, I've shared pictures of it. I mentioned before, I still have a set that I believe came out in 1982, which I got it for a holiday gift. It was the Galaxy Commander ship. I built it, and I've never taken it apart. I still have it in storage. It's still together. 6-year-old Kenny built it, and nearly 50-year-old Ken has it still put together, and it's still one of my favorite things. So that said, when in about, like you said, 99, around the Phantom Menace era, Star Wars comes into Lego. I will say this. They started kind of getting IP into Lego, and Star Wars might have been the first one or one of the first ones.
Yeah.
I was a little like, I don't know, that seems unpure. Like I have enough imagination to make my space Lego sets the story. But I loved it, and I rushed out to Toys R Us in Porter Ranch, California to get the N1 Starfighter set I still have, and I love it. And as it's grown and grown and grown, it's been key to me. In fact, in that period of time where, I think I secretly loved the prequels more than I cared to admit, but didn't have anyone to really talk to about that. Joseph and I had not met yet. Jen and I had not met yet. The Star Wars Lego prequel game was one of the things. I don't even think I talk about it much, Sean, but that's one of the things that sparked my love of the prequels even more, with just playing the game. So I love the brand. I love it. I don't catch everything. The games have gotten almost too involved for this old man. Yeah. And I haven't seen the last Rebuild the Galaxy. I want to. It's on my list, but I absolutely am a big fan of Star Wars and Lego.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this stream and taking time to talk to all of us.
I appreciate you, Sean. Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that's how you do it. Get in and have some fun. Camera ready. It's fun. I like it. I'm a little nervous, a little nervous having you on camera. I just want to make sure you're all comfortable. Okay. Svetnik Ethan says, I am Benny from the Legos movie Spaceship. Oh, yeah. Is that the Charlie Day? Was that the Charlie Day one? Igor has this is a good one. Favorite set is the M68 from Solo. I didn't get that one, but it looked good. I love that ship. I think the designs in Solo, the film just overall are really, really, really underrated there. Don't forget, I've also put a question in there, and if you want to call in and make it part of your experience here, what is a Star Wars Halloween costume you would love to pull off? Not necessarily one that you have, but maybe if you had the time and you had the skills, would you do it? All right, let's bring in our next caller. By the way, if you're just popping in here, you want to call into the show and get your face on screen today because I messed up the setup. Now's your chance. Go ahead and become a Patreon supporter and jump on in there at patreon.com/ForceCenter. Get into the post that is there for the link to call in today. If you're already a supporter, you might know. So let's do the Next call here. His name's Michael, but years ago I accidentally called him Detective McCarcel because I couldn't remember it as Michael, and he's here now. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Trying to recover from most assuredly failing a midterm earlier today. So
Okay, well, hold on. Let's choose hope. Okay, let's look towards the Twin Suns and see the future.
man. So about that, I can confirm I made probably a 50 on this exam. Like
Is that okay? What's passing? 51?
a 70. A 70 is a C.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
Luthen Rail will tell you that we just keep losing until it's time to win, right? Isn't that what he said? Isn't that kind of what he said? He was talking about school, right?
He ranted a lot. So if there is a generous curve, I'll do okay.
All right.
But this
Well,
professor does not do partial credit, so which is weird for most physics and math based classes, but whatever.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Also, I don't know if I ever fully noticed your rebel insignia tattoo there on your shoulder. Is that what I see right there? Look at that. Look at that.
Really,
You're marked.
really small, but at the bottom, it's got the Jedi symbol.
Look at
inside
that.
of it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful stuff, man. Matty Gutters here says, "Look at that glorious mane." Yes, you got Qui-Gon hair. You could pull off a Qui-Gon hairstyle.
I'm not tall enough to be Qui-Gon. I'm not like 6'3", so I'm only like 5'10". But I could
That's all right.
definitely. A parent of one of my the kids that I coach at the rock climbing gym did at one point refer to me as the coach with the Qui-Gon hair.
See,
I had my hair. It's like I did have it pulled back with the like half at the top and the rest down.
yeah, yep.
So
Yep.
I'll take it. Best compliment ever.
There you go. I also call it the Daniel Day-Lewis Last of the Mohicans look, which I dare I say rocked for about half a year when I was at radio. Michael, what's on your Star Wars mind today? Where do we go?
Oh man, I can kick it off with the topic question. So Qui-Gon aside, I think, and I actually have intentions to do so, a gender swapped Rey and Kylo with my fiance. So
Nice.
I'd be Rey, she'd be Kylo. She already has most of the stuff for the Kylo outfit. She just needs the actual lightsaber. So
And the scar, you just got to get a scar in her face. She's working on that.
she's actually really good at like gore makeup and stuff. Like she even taught a little class at the library one year, so she can very easily just do that.
I love that. Which Rey outfit would you be looking at? 7, 8, 9?
I'm partial to Last Jedi just because I think I look better in gray than I do in white. So
Yeah. I mean, look, the amount of times that you work out and the rock climbing you do, you could probably pull off white. That's something I'd look like a squished Mounds bar out of the chocolate coating. So I'm not gonna, I wouldn't want to do that. But I think you could do it. But yeah, also with the hair, she got a little pull back hair, right? A little different style.
Oh, yeah.
Last Jedi. I think you could pull that off.
Oh no, I can absolutely do the Ray buns. We've tested it.
Oh, you're going Ray buns. I was talking about Ray after she kind of takes the dip in the water, comes out with some little Qui-Gon hair, which might have been some of the speculation at the time. But yeah, let's see some Ray buns on you. Let's do that.
I'll get her to do that soon.
Love that.
Post a picture in the Discord.
Love that. Well, there you go. First question asked, answered. But what else is on your mind here? I want to dig in.
I guess I wanted to talk about you mentioned the Mando Grogu trailer. I just want to talk about how excited I am for maybe I'm just talking for Joseph today, but the serial adventure pulp adventure aspects of it seem to have been cranked up to an 11, and I'm really excited about that. It looks like an adventure, and I don't care if it's consequential or not. If I get to spend 2 hours with these characters on a fun adventure, like I don't care if it's low stakes. I just and hey, to the people complaining, oh, we don't know anything about it. It's a first look trailer. It's the first trailer. Yeah. We scarcely get full plot details in the first trailer. So we're 9 months out. People need to relax, but this is Star Wars fans. So
we're never going to relax about that, right? And I agree. I don't always relax about my Star Wars opinions, but Yeah, I think you're speaking the truth, Michael. Again, it's not kind of what I'm saying, that I think it's going to be, I think more people are gonna have that feeling as it gets closer to it. I hope the marketing, I don't need them to unveil everything that's in it. In fact, I would like bare bones marketing in terms of actual footage, but I think they're gonna have to keep reminding people. Mando season 3 is in the rearview mirror. It seems like yesterday to us, but it's not in terms of the pop culture, the speed of pop culture. Season 1, which is probably where most people in the general audience watched it, and whether they continued or not, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's not uncommon for a series to start big and peak, and then it just drops off because of various reasons, nothing even related to the quality of the show. So I think you're looking at a lot of 2019 people and saying, hey, come enjoy this, and I think that's going to be key to the marketing as we move forward. But I think you're right. At the risk of repeating myself, it's going to be a breath of fresh air, I think, not just in terms of Star Wars, but just in terms of summer movie making. And I really trust Favreau on that. I really trust him on that.
The guy's made a movie before. Like, I'm not worried about it looking like it's a made-for-TV Hallmark movie. Like, it just, again, all these amateur film nerds out here thinking they know whatever about color grading and this, like, you're watching this trailer on your phone. Like, calm down. Calm down.
Yeah. There's that, and that gets into the negative side of the discourse, and I get it, and I accept it as part of it. It's just as ForceCenter cranks along into its 11th season, 12th broadcast year, I have less room for that kind of talk around these films. I just want to focus on what is there and what I think will be appreciated by the audience. It sounds like you're there too, and Jeannie from Tahini agrees with you, and some other people in chat as well. And again, there is something. I think sometimes we are, because we are all in the bubble. If you're listening to ForceCenter, you're probably not a casual Star Wars fan. I just think that's always been our lot in life, to quote 3PO. You have a little bit of extra investment into the franchise. But I think it's easy for us to look at a show like Andor that is nearly perfect. I mean, 9.9999%, just a perfect show in terms of execution, dialogue, writing, acting, performance, everything it said. I think it's easy to overlook that there's a lot of people like other forms of Star Wars too, and I think that's going to reflect with this film again. And it sounds like you're one of the leaders.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm all here for the pulp adventure. I'm a sucker for it. So
there you go. I appreciate Igor. The Mad Ads. Yeah, everyone forgets how Mason season 2, episode 1 looked. Favreau and the ratio, the shift that he did, and all that stuff. So the aspect ratio switch. So there you go, Michael. I appreciate you, buddy.
Absolutely, man. Take care.
All right. The good. Oh, sorry, I cut you off. Hit me.
I was going to make a joke about you streaming by yourself on ForceCenter and mixing with the bladdering. You're good.
It is, yeah. It's all one world for me right now.
Truly.
Right. With a chihuahua at my feet. Thanks, Michael. All right. This is a AM radio talk show, Star Wars edition here today. If you want to call on the show, become a Patreon supporter. Get on in here. If you're listening later, watching later, hey, leave us a like, hype the video, leave a nice comment, all those kind of wonderful things as we continue to fight the real enemy, the algorithm. It's Blathering Center, says Jeannie from Tahini. I always want to add too many syllables. Jahini from Tahini. Poncho Mike answering the question of the day. Then we got a call from Will lined up here. Poncho Mike says, I'd love to pull off a Chewbacca costume, but unfortunately, I built more like an Ewok. Same here, Poncho Mike. My entire life, built like a bowling ball. I'm a cart puller. Just can't escape it. No matter how many days in the gym I try. I need to go rock climbing with Detective McCarcel. And as much as I want to be a tall, strapping lad like Kylo Ren, I am always going to be Malakili crying over a Rancor. So I feel you. I would have loved to pull off Chewbacca. The question is, Poncho Mike, follow-up answer needed. Would you go with classic, like, New Hope, a little bit of Empire, Chewbacca, or would you go with the Return of the Jedi, kind of feathered hair banged edition of Chewbacca? I think it's one of the aspects of Chewbacca we don't discuss enough. The hairdo of Return of the Jedi. A little poofier, a little bit more like he's played the Sunset Strip with LA Guns and Rat, and I like it. So, Poncho Mike, I'm going to want to know that answer. All right, next caller up in a second here. Actually, Amaranth says, I have white hair cutting up bob, so I'd love to do a KB costume. Most of it's doable, but the visor would be a challenge to build around my glasses. Oh, Amaranth, that's a wonderful idea. I understand the limitations there. If you got you got to build around them glasses, maybe we can find a way. Could someone out there 3D print a visor to clip on Amaranth's glasses? Yeah, KB Phantom Attack is saying, yeah, KB love. Love the character of KB, having just rewatched Skeleton Crew recently. My love for those characters is pretty even around the board, but KB is pretty special too and represents a lot of wonderful things. So, let's get Will on the phone here. And this is what I like to see. Porg Nation, hashtag Porg Nation. Where are you, Ash Crossing? Here's the Porg. How you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. I figured I should show up in costume today.
It's a perfect costume. I really do hope that you just pull that off and your head is right underneath.
It's got to be good for something. You know, I'm Facebook Marketplace. It's still available. So until it is,
yep.
I'm going to get my jollies out of the board.
Love it. Love it.
Also,
love
my
it.
background is trash, so I had to do something to get on quickly and cover up for the fact that my house is a disaster.
I mean, it's okay, man. I'm probably close to moving soon, so this studio is going to be a stack of mess soon. Will, what is on your Star Wars brain?
Not a whole lot. I'm just popping in to say hey and support the show and all that, and enjoyed the quick talk of Mando and Grogu. I enjoyed the trailer, and I'm excited to see what comes down the path with that.
What's some of the specific things you enjoyed in the trailer, or specific things you're looking forward to seeing?
Well, I'd be lying if I didn't jump up and do a screen point when a man-to-man, or who might be a man-to-man, popped out, out of the water. It just, Glup Shido, Star Wars nerd brain. I was like, ooh. And of course, my wife was sitting next to me. She said, "What is it? What's the matter?" I'm like, it'll take too long to explain.
Yeah, I jumping in on that point there. I agree with you. I absolutely loved it, and I got to admit, I think over the years, I've gotten completely lazy where I'll see a trailer, and unless we're broadcasting right away, unless it's like we're going live, which we rarely do, we always take a time to comb through things a little bit. But I saw that Mando trailer. I saw what is a monoman or a someone similar to him, and I didn't pick it up right away, and I needed Alex Damon to tell me, just like we all need sometimes Alex Damon to tell us. And then I got super excited because I know that phrase that we often fight against of it's just action figures. Like, nuts to that, man. This is part of the fun of being a Star Wars fan. Glup Shidos are part of why we love Star Wars. And to take an action figure like a Monoman and put him into, if this is actually what's happening, to put him into action, it's not unlike finally seeing an IG droid like IG-88, now IG-11, have full movement in Mandalorian Season 1. That's part of the little joys of Star Wars that I want to celebrate. So I'm with you.
1,000%. It's one of those the fans latch onto something and run a bit, and then years and years and years later, it's like this would never have happened if not for people pointing at background weirdos and enjoying them over the years. So enjoyed that. I'm probably like you. I watched the trailer maybe one time, put my phone down, haven't watched it since. And just because I'm going to be there day one, and I don't need to see anything else. I'm good. I don't need to see another frame of anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I have not watched it a ton. Jen and I rewatched it before our episode on Tuesday, and that's just a lot of life going on, a lot of life things happening. And you don't have as much time for it like I did in 2015. But there was also part of it, like you're saying, Will, where I'm like, I'm going to step just back enough. I'm not stepping Matty Gunner back, who sometimes just completely throws his TV out the window so he doesn't get any Star Wars promotion. But I'm going to step a little bit back enough to cover what I need to on ForceCenter, but take it all in when I finally see it in theater. So I'm with you.
I totally respect Matty. He's the hero we all need.
I mean, come on. Let's be careful there. Let's not give him too much. He is a rock star. He already has an ego. By the way, I love this. Igor the man, you're making me laugh. Igor says this is making me laugh so hard right now. And this pork has some very, very deep thoughts. I imagine that at some point someone will slide through this episode and just kind of be like, is there a porg talking to a podcaster? Is this a porgcast? Is this what's going on?
This is Joseph's idea. If you remember that original call, he was like, well, we should have him as a fourth member of ForceCenter who just sits there. And so I was, when you said we're going live, I'm like, you know what? Today's his day. He's gonna be here. He's gonna be on ForceCenter, and he gets to live in infamy on the internet.
There forever. You go. I love that. Have you named this porg yet?
No. I'd like to name him $650 and out of my house, but until then,
Okay, fair enough. I got you. Will, thank you. Any final thoughts, buddy?
That's it, bud.
All right. Thanks to Will for calling in. And thank you for the porg for calling in. And James Hubbs checking in for the UK. Thanks for the generous super chat. The Rancor trader, Malakili, have the chest air forward. Yeah, unfortunately, I do hit the gym. I do go for my walks. I still think at the end of the day, Malakili is the only costume I could pull off. And even then, I don't think I could. I don't think I would. Rich Steve says I should leave the porg up for the rest of the show. Phone lines are open here. We're here for a few more minutes, about 20 more minutes on this special Friday edition, a little ForceCenter talkback. And we try to do a big one of these every month. But this is just a little quick one here. But we might do more of these. Just no locked topic, just ForceCenter talkback. So get on in here. If you're a Patreon supporter, you can find the post that was made beginning of the week, and you can get the StreamYard link in. And today, camera ready. I think going forward, we want to keep it audio so that everyone can feel comfortable and not feel bad about any setup or anything like that. But I'm having fun hanging out with all of you here today. So another call coming in here. Let me catch up. Poncho Mike did have a follow-up. Thank you, Mike. I asked. You answered. Poncho Mike says, New Hope, but I did rock a feathered hairstyle back in the day. All right, that's a good compromise. All right, let's bring in our next caller here, JJ Hawkins. That is a rock star name right there. JJ, how you doing, buddy? Speaking of great hair, look at you.
It's the name that my father thought that would look good on a football trophy. Little did he know that I was going to be born with jazz hands. I am much more a musical theater guy than a football guy.
Well, look, JJ Hawkins. That's a great football name. In fact, I might even put you into my Madden franchise. I might just build up a JJ Hawkins. But I hear the name JJ Hawkins, I think of just a absolute rock star. You say jazz heads, maybe it is Screaming JJ Hawkins and the Jazz Five. I don't know. I liked it. I think you got a versatile name.
Actually, only the second person in my life that has ever mentioned Screaming Jay Hawkins when they first heard my name, and I've always been surprised by that.
Right? It's there.
Yeah. There. Well, and if we're talking about costumes that we would go for, this has always I have people in my real life that call me Chewy, so I am a tall hairy man, so it's gonna be a Wookiee or nothing.
Foregone conclusion. I respect it. I love it. That's a great it's a great answer. I mean, Chewbacca costumes are hard to pull off. There's an infamously bad one, but it's so bad it's loved on Hollywood Boulevard, Walk of Fame. A situation there, but also even the ones at Star Wars or Disney are not perfect. So I think you got a good head start there. You got the hair for it.
And they were talking about Lego earlier, Lego Star Wars, and I was just going to say real quick how much Lego Star Wars was a huge thing for me a couple of years ago. I got in a bicycle accident that, since it's only you today, I can say this because you'll understand. In this case, my bicycle was Owen Hart, and I was Steve Austin.
And, oh boy!
And so after I had surgery, I couldn't feel my hands or my legs for like 6 months. Wow. And they told me that I had to focus on things with my fingers so I could get like any sort of nerve repaired. And so I just first started out with a little one of those micro fighters of Din and the Razor Crest, and worked my way up into the Millennium Falcon. I just got bigger and bigger. I made an X-Wing fighter, then I made an X-Wing or a TIE fighter, then I made the Millennium Falcon. By the time I was done with the Millennium Falcon, I could feel my hands again. So
that's a Star Wars success story and a Lego success story. This should be on like a Lego commercial. Like this should be help my recovery. Wow.
But the thing, so we're talking about upcoming movies and stuff. What I was going to say is the one thing that gets me the most excited about Starfighter coming up is I know we have this image of what we expect from Ryan Gosling. We expect you guys have talked about the dancer, the dashing fellow and stuff. I keep thinking of the Ryan Gosling that gave us Hef Nelson and Lars and the Real Girl. And I think we have the opportunity to do something with that movie that is going to bring in the popcorn people, but could be something really subversive. I mean, Sean Levy hasn't really shown that he wants to do that a heck of a lot, but the possibility is there. And I think we have an interesting cast going forward for that. And so I think we're kind of, as we look forward to that movie as being hopefully not just a, well, as you guys have kind of said, a film for young boys, I think we could get something better. And I'm hoping.
I think it's good hope, JJ. I really do. I think I've always tried to be honest that I get. I have people in my real life IRL who are like, I can't do Gosling in Star Wars, and it's not even that they're anti-Gosling. It's just about the name value, and I understand it. I think Star Wars, as we've talked about before, has the reputation of a bunch of newcomers getting their start, but that's not always the case. Especially wasn't the case in the prequel era. We all knew that cast going into that film, that first film. So I have less of a problem with it, but I get it. I really do understand it. A personality like him could dominate the film just by being himself. But you are talking about someone who is way more versatile than I think some people are aware even. I joke sometimes about, was it Blue Valentine, about the darkest of relationship movies out there. One of them at least. And I do believe, in regards to Sean Levy, I do think you're right. There is reason to believe that it's going to be more popcorn, which I'm not saying dismissively, but it's going to be a little more that than a little more depth based on maybe some of his work. But I also feel that he is a Star Wars fan. He is someone who wants it. He gets that. I think I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, JJ, that he gets that and that he has a chance to do something with a little more poignancy to it, like a lot of Star Wars creators who come into it. These are all just fan films at this point. I don't ever mean that dismissively either, but this is someone who was influenced by it, and I got to imagine he understands the weight behind of it. And Gosling being a producer, I think he's proven. Even with Barbie, even with him as Ken, there's a reason he was heralded, a reason he was acknowledged for his work in that film. He brings and the direction of Greta Gerwig, Margot Robbie, America Ferrera, like it's one of my all-time favorite movies, and I've watched it a lot. But he hits the right tone because he knows how to shift that gear. So I remain hopeful. I do remain hopeful.
And of course, the big thing about Grogu, Mandalorian and Grogu is I'm just looking forward to Zeb all day.
It's gonna, I gotta tell you, that one action shot that we got to see in the trailer maybe made me a believer. Where before I was like, all right, let's see how they can pull this off. I think it worked. Him having the bar counter conversation in Mando season 3, it worked for me. Yeah. But there's always a little danger, what's the disconnect going to be? I think it's hard to jump up a character like that from animation to live action for many, many, many reasons. I'm not even talking about the Ahsoka of it all. I'm talking about an alien species. It's just different. But that shot, that looked cool. And
I'm an OT kid. I'm an OT kid all the way. My literal first memory is sitting on my father's lap and watching Star Wars. But Rebels is my favorite Star Wars. It just is. Ezra's my favorite Jedi.
There you go. There you're going to get that. And you got Ezra in season 2 of Ahsoka. I'm looking forward to his growth. JJ, I appreciate your call, buddy. This is a home run of a call. There you go. JJ Hawkins. Screaming JJ Hawkins. Love that there. Love it. We got a couple calls lined up here for about 10, 15 more minutes, but this has been a lot of fun. A little ForceCenter Talk Back Live. Michael McCarcel adds, Sigourney Weaver, she alone is more than enough reason to watch. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to having someone like her in the Star Wars family officially. Let's keep it going. Mike's queued up. We got soon-to-be birthday boy, Brett and Mystical Mar, but let's get to Mike right now. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Ken, longtime listener, first-time caller. I've been following you I had to do some math, about 9 years, it seems. I found you through Jedi Council, some different ideologies over there, and when that kind of fell apart, it was very easy for me to decide who I was going to be following. And ForceCenter was actually the first ever audio-only podcast I ever listened to. It was because of you that I was like, all right, I'll try this audio-only thing. And that's what got me into it. But I just wanted to say that I just really appreciate you. I appreciate all the joy you bring into my life. During dark times, we gotta, raise up the people who spark joy for us. So for me, that's you.
Oh man,
Um,
appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to comment on the question about a Halloween costume because I have thought about this for a long time and maybe a cosplay someday, but it's a big ask. I
Mm.
want to do Zero the Hut. I want to build a hut costume. I'm thinking about hula hoops and fabric skins and airbrushing, something that I can walk around in.
Hmm.
And I am
Hmm.
not nearly far enough into my Friday fun
Yeah.
activities to try to
Mm.
do a Zero the Hut voice for you today. But
Sure. Sure.
I just, for some reason, I just obsessed with Zero. And I know that a lot of people have strong negative feelings about him, but I'm just
I
obsessed.
I mentioned Zero, I think earlier this week on the episode with Jen. And I am one of those people that went from "Are you kidding me?" to "Give me more Zero." The Truman Capote voice, everything about it, I get it. I get it. I was there too. In 2008, I was like, "Pfft, all right, I'm gonna go back to watching more sports. Star Wars is cooked." And now I don't know what it is, Mike. I just you spend time with the characters, the wildness, the wackiness, the overtop nature of it. I am pro Zero. So please, somehow, you got to pull this off and share it with
Someday,
us.
it's churning in the brain. It's been going for years. Someday, if you run into Zero the Hut at a celebration someday, you'll know.
Just keep yelling, Mike. Mike, are you in there? Love that. But
So,
what is else? What else is on your Star Wars mind today?
I'm excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu. There's all the videos out there. It just looks like a TV show. I just want to have fun. I'm not going
Mm,
to think too hard about it, especially for that one. I understand some of the feelings of like, oh, well, we want Star Wars to make a big bang, the first movie back since episode 9. I absolutely agree, but I just want to go into it just to embrace whatever it is, to just
hmm
enjoy what they're giving us, be happy that it's back on the big screen. I'm excited to see Din and Grogu um, on the big screen. So that's just front of
mm,
mind for me. So I watched the trailer once. I'm going to try not to watch anything else because I would really like to go into it and be surprised. But
yeah.
Sigourney Weaver, a big, as you might have picked up on, just a big Hut fan in general.
Yes.
So I am excited to see, is that Rada? What's going on there? I would love to see a proper practical hut again someday. I think that's a
Hmm.
pipe dream,
Yep.
but I'm just excited to see whatever we get in Mando in terms of the huts.
Yeah, no, I mean, the what they pulled off with the twins in Book of Boba Fett is something I'm a fan of seeing more and more. Yeah, I'm there with you on that. What are and by the way, overall, I really agree with you. I just think it echoes one of the things that's on my mind. I don't think the film is ever going to completely escape it's just the fourth season in a film thing because it's kind of what it was. But I know, and I've said it before, they're aware of that. We've already got spectacular sequences that we've seen, and as we know, it's forged for IMAX. I think it's going to have a little bit of blow your socks off kind of energy behind it, and I think people are going to react to that there. But I do want to ask you specifically, what are your Rada the Hut potentially coming back thoughts as a Hut fan?
I I am excited for it. I always when we got the twins, I know a lot of us were like, "Where's Rada?"
Hmm.
So I am fine with him having had as a teenager he hated his dad and he went to the other end of the galaxy and he doesn't care
Yep.
about Tatooine. Like I am
Yep.
fine with him not being part of that argument,
Yeah.
not trying to overthrow Boba Fett. So I would be really excited to see him come back. I'm also fine if it's a completely different hut, but I think it would be
Yeah.
great to come full circle on that. I think that Lucasfilm has been really good at answering some of those questions. I mean, I think at the end of season 2 of Mando, when he tries to give Bo-Katan the dark saber, and she's like, I can't take that. And I'm like, yeah, but in Rebels you did. Yeah, they circled back to that. And I
Yeah.
keep thinking that will happen with Rada.
I agree with you, Mike. And Amaranth asks, "Will we call him Big Stinky?" I hope. I hope that. I didn't think of that until that comment, but I hope so. Yeah, look, I think I said it early on in the in the rumor mill when Jeremy Allen White's name first popped up, and there were some other folks maybe with different Star Wars ideologies than mine on the internet saying this was a waste of a performer like him. And actually, I want to say I understand that. This is a great performer, and you could see him used in a lot of different ways in Star Wars. So if this ends up being what it is, Rada, voiced by Jeremy Allen White, I said it then, Mike. I said it. I'll say it now to bring it back out of the idea closet of the like, hey, Rada would have something to say about what happened to his dad. Rada would have something to say about the galaxy, or has nothing to say, and that's intriguing itself because of what you're saying. He pounded sand literally and got the hell out of there. I don't want none of this. And now he's maybe a target. Now he's maybe captured. Maybe he's a UFC fighter. Maybe that's why he's in that fighting pit. Maybe that's him, and he's like, this is the career I chose. This is my life.
Right.
It's interesting stuff to me, and it's silly. It's over the top, and I get it. Jeremy Allen White might be better served in another role, but let's bring that depth. Let's bring a performer like that to this wonderful role, Rada. Let's do it.
Right. I agree. And he could always do another character live action too. Stranger things have happened in Star Wars. So if we're really worried about that, he can come back and use his own face for another character.
Two big examples: to Andy Serkis, Snoke into Kino Loy, and then Harrison Ford, Han Solo, and then the trailer announcer for Empire Strikes Back. I think it could happen.
Absolutely.
Mike, I appreciate you. Appreciate the longtime support. Appreciate following me over from the other place. Loved hanging out over there, but love hanging out here even more. And that's because of people like you.
Thanks so much, Ken.
All right. Mike, call it in there. A couple more calls left here. If you want to call in, still time. If you're a Patreon supporter, find the post, get on in here. Be camera ready today. Camera ready today. So if you do not want to be on camera, you can shut off your camera. I'll take your audio, and it will just be up there with a gray screen, and we're fine with that. Why? Because, again, if you're just joining us, I messed up the background today. I may have been going for a walk with my Chihuahua in the neighborhood. That might have been why I kind of slid into my studio a little bit later than planned. Let's go with, like I said earlier, a soon, very soon to be birthday boy, Brennan Mystical Mar. Brennan, I love you, man. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Okay, doing good. Good.
In case we don't get to say it on ForceCenter next week, happy early birthday, my friend.
Thank you.
What's on your mind, buddy?
Blooming onion at Outback.
Yeah, you're Outback. For those that didn't watch the Blathering yesterday, and come hang out with us in the Blathering on my own YouTube channel. Brennan shared his birthday plans, going to his favorite Outback steakhouse. But what is on your Star Wars mind today, buddy?
Well, it's really interesting. I'm a little bit out of the loop when it comes to popular television.
Okay. So am I.
So I did not know who Bill Burr was until The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know who Amy Sedaris was prior to that.
Okay.
I didn't know who Edwin Lostakarak was until Andor.
Yeah, and he's been around a bit, too.
So in his case, everyone says, you mean from the Dare? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, from Andor.
I just was watching... I was watching something recently, and as you all know, I don't watch things a lot. And Eben Moss-Bacharach was in it, and this was like something like 10 years plus. It might have been John Adams. I was rewatching John Adams on HBO, and I think maybe I have to look up the IMDb, but I laughed because it's like this is what Star Wars can do. There's no judgment of you not knowing anyone before they touch Star Wars, no matter how they might be big, how big they might be in their circles. I don't think Burr becomes a household name until 5-6 years ago. He was known by people like me in the comedy world.
He was a snarky internet comic.
Yeah. And a big one.
Who he was until Andor. And so...
Yeah.
And Mandalorian.
Sorry. Yeah, no, and Amy Sedaris is a bit of fan of for years. Exit 57.
Well, they're just playing themselves, and I'm like, I don't even know who they are.
You were like, this. I didn't even know if this guy's from Boston.
I don't know that Amy Sedaris is supposedly a character like this in most of her shows.
And yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, Strangers with Candy, Exit 57.
I was like, I don't know who this lady is. I just know this character is.
Yeah. There you go.
Definitely out of the holiday special type character.
Indeed. No, absolutely. I think it's fair to connect.
The big 70s hair. And...
Yeah, indeed. Love that there.
So there are a lot of actors that I did not know until I saw them in Star Wars.
There's directors. That's the thing I love about the Disney streaming years, whether it ends up being a success or not. It did bring so many names. And to those like us who are focused on Star Wars, that's how we're going to get to know some of these names. It's a great thing.
I never understood the build where they're like, you can't have a Boston accent in Star Wars. And I'm like,
look,
yeah, why do they all speak in British accents when they're in the game? Far away.
Yeah, my buddy Mark Ellis has a great joke about that in one of his specials. You all should check out. And I agree with it. I agree with it. There's room for all accents.
Yeah, but it's really interesting to get to know these actors through Star Wars. And I never watched the IT Crowd, so I didn't really know who Richard Iowade was.
Oh, right. And then later on, Matt Berry.
So a lot of it was like, I don't know these people, but now I do.
It's I mean that's the same all through I think the history of Star Wars and any big property. It's one of the things.
And I gotta say though, B. Arthur in the holiday special is one of the best things ever.
Say goodnight, friends. I absolutely agree with you. Would you like to see her come back? At least the character come back?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Love it. Any big final thoughts on your mind as you head towards your birthday week? What did you like about the Mando trailer?
I mean, it looks like fun, and I think with Andor being so deadly serious, I think Mando looks like it's gonna get back to where the fun of Star Wars should be.
Yeah, but I think it's going to strike that chord. I think it's going to strike the chord. I think there was the time and the room for the seriousness of Andor, and I think there will be again. But I do think there's some value to what we can talk about today. So I'm looking forward to it. What any particular trailer moment that you like so far?
I mean, a man, all the weird aliens and big rock and sucking robot type things. And
Yep.
It just looks like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, and a good mix of what looks like some good old-fashioned Phil Tippett stop motion, some good old-fashioned droids, and like you said, rock'em sock'em robots kind of thing. So I think it's good. I
agree with you that there's probably going to be some big themes here.
Oh, it's going to be super poignant, too, without a doubt.
There are going to be fans who are like, what themes? We're like, oh my gosh, they're right there.
They're right there indeed. It's the age-old problem.
Andor, we're beating you over the head with it.
It does. It serves it up in a direct manner, which I think was needed for the topic, the topics that Andor was getting to. But I think I still say some of the deepest Star Wars was found in Mandalorian season 3, and I get the complaints about the season. I get the wonkiness of some of the storytelling, and I get some of the casting didn't fit with a lot of folks. I do not take that away from it.
My favorite season of Mandalorian.
It's kind of mine too. I've said that before. I get weird looks at parties when I say that, but I'm not just doing it for effect.
Anytime you get Katie Sackhoff than anything, I'm happy.
Well, you make sure Katie knows that because apparently
I've met her 3 times, so hopefully I get to meet her again.
That's almost 2 more times than I've met her, and I worked with her. No, I was that story of Katie on her podcast saying that she just didn't have a handle on the character in live action. It felt it kind of affected her work.
Character than her personality, yeah.
It is. But I think she did. I think she did great. I think she's a wonderful performer and personally one of my favorite people out there working.
Absolutely.
So, Brennan, thanks for calling in again. Happy early birthday. We appreciate you, buddy.
And talk to you later.
All right, Brennan, check it in there. We've got time for one more call unless someone else pops in here. Really had a lot of fun hanging out with you today for the Talkback show. No pressure on this next call because he might not be the last one. But in the comedy world, you'd be kind of the headliner. Eli, check it in. I love it. There you go, Eli. I'll take half your face. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm actually probably just about to watch for my own show an episode of Rebels again.
Nice.
Speaking of animation, the thing I wanted to talk about is not actually Mandalorian and Grogu, although I did appreciate the trailer, and I think really for me the trailer is just like it's too as Amaranth says, I have the Solo Maw behind me. I have a cool back. I think it's a cool background, and I think it's. But anyway, I like the Mando and Grogu trailer. I feel like it's just very much like a, when they put it at the polls like too early to tell. Like that's kind of what I feel about the Mando and Grogu trailer. Is like, okay,
I love that. I love that you're like you're you're at the election board going, Ohio, too early to call. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, no, like I liked what I saw, and but I'm really excited. Most of all, next year, I think for Maul Shadow Lord.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I think, and we love animation here, but it just naturally sometimes gets pushed to the background until it emerges. I am very, very much looking forward to Maul Shadow Lord.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see, especially because even with like seasons being shortened and shortened and shortened in live action, it seems like in animation, although they've been shortened, it's been pretty stable with Bad Batch getting 16, I think, in all 3 seasons. I think season 3 got 15, but
yeah.
I'm excited to get a nice long season of what Maul's been up to this whole time. And I guess my question for you is, what are you most looking forward to? What do you want to see? Not in terms of like necessarily like characters and stuff like that, but like just in terms of like tone and stuff like that, and what Maul's been up to all this time.
I am looking for a deeper understanding or deeper exploration of who Maul is. There's so many things out there that can be pieced together from years of storytelling. And I'll even pull in some of the non-canon stuff in the Darth Plagueis book, but there's so much wonderful Maul was hurt and it never got repaired storytelling that if we could coalesce it into this show and explore him and not necessarily excuse him. And I think Witwer has said some stuff in this ballpark. I don't have the quote in front of me, but not excuse Maul for anything he did and anything he will do, but to explain him a little bit more. And then that way the tragedy is even deeper when we catch up to him again. And the tragedy, it cuts, no pun intended, cuts deeper than it does when we see Kenobi and Maul's end in the desert on Tatooine. I think it will only add to things we already know. And it's one of the great things I love about Star Wars and why I don't roll my eyes at, another character. They're out of ideas. I love this world. I love these characters. And if I get a chance to go back and explore them on different points of their timeline, I want to do that. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to with Maul Shadow Lord.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of those quotes that you're talking about that Witwer has been talking about, like the idea of Maul being bad, but like Sidious is worse, making that distinction of he is bad, but he's actually not the worst bad we can get. Yeah. And exploring that distinction. I'm interested to I was talking with a friend about like his potential apprentice. And where that can pan out to, and all the stuff with Crimson Dawn, I think will be really interesting. And as Amaranth said in the comments, I'm really interested to see how a main character in an animated show that is truly evil, and of course is the protagonist of their own story, but is truly evil, will be handled. How that like darker tone, how that like not to use the and/or buzzwords or anything like that, but how that will all be handled, and if it'll get a second season, stuff like that. Like I'm really, really excited for that, and I can't wait for Maul Shadow Lord.
Yeah, and a chance to explore some of the underworld and all those kind of things. And we all love kind of going around that world, and there's a lot of characters I love to see show up. First and foremost, Kira. I will hold out all hope in the world that I get to see Emilia Clarke in that role again in live action. But if we need to explore this character more here in this series, I cannot wait for that. And this is a great spot to do it because animation
Kira and Dryden
constantly delivers. What's that? Excuse me? Who?
Kira and Dryden too.
Dryden. They got the character design.
Yeah, they have the model from Clone Wars. I'm really interested to see, like, we got that book that displayed, which I haven't read, but I know it displayed Kira's Crimson Climb. Kira's climbed through the ranks of Crimson Dawn. I'm wondering if we'll see a little bit more about how Dryden did that as well, about how Dryden became the man who we see in Solo, and who is so feared by everybody.
And fears Maul, like what's the relationship
and fears
there?
Maul has that
Love it. Well, I'm
dynamic,
glad
yeah.
you brought it up as we look forward to new Star Wars in 2026. That's one of the things we have on the list, so it could be easy to overlook. Eli, thanks for calling in, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ken.
All right, there you go. There you go. Wonderful calls today. Let me catch up with some super chats in case I missed those. Porter saying thanks for the stream. Very generous super chat. Appreciate that, Porter. Igor the Mad saying please keep your chin up, Ken. My question: I've been inspired to learn more about real life topics because of Star Wars. For me, wanting to understand the Force led me to study Taoism and Buddhism. That's fantastic. I think I've been open about this in the past of what it did was just diving into Star Wars on a deeper level as it changed how I looked at it changed. Let me rephrase that. It changed how I looked at the world, how I looked at politics, how I looked at my own beliefs, and how those beliefs seemed to run counter to a lot of the things that were in Star Wars that I loved. And it allowed me to sync it up a little more. So it was a self-exploration, but it was also an exploration of our own history here in America and the world at large. And just finally coming to terms with some of the stuff George had put into his movies at the core of his story were always there, whether I ignored it or not. And there were times where I decided to ignore it. Looking at about 2005, Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin's quoting certain people, and I'm like, nah, that's not true. But that's impossible. But that's what it did. So very navel gazing, looking inward on it. But Star Wars kind of it did that to me in a major way. So, but with other people, I love talking to people that Star Wars inspired them to create, to make art, to write, to get into science. I know Star Trek might have a little bit more of that reputation for good reason. Star Wars being more fantasy than sci-fi, but I think it still has that legacy as well. And that's there. And also, it would make sense, some of the religions and beliefs out there in the system. So there you go. All right. Igor, thanks for the question. We are about to get on out of here. I appreciate this. We'll do the talkbacks, ForceCenter talkback. I got to be honest with you. I had an idea to kind of put together a different kind of live show, more than just a casual hangout stream, which we love doing once a month. We got the live, now doing news live on Mondays. But I wanted to do like an hour long, maybe updated version of what Jedi Alliance set out to be years ago and have some fun with that. And I was going to call it ForceCenter Now. And then MSNBC became like MSNBC Now or whatever the hell they did. And I was like, well, I can't call ForceCenter that now. It's a punchline. So now we'll figure out maybe a name for what we're trying to do here. Maybe have some, rank lists, some fun things. Take those questions, take those calls. Let me know what you want to hear. Thank you to everyone who supports on Patreon. We really appreciate that. In this uncertain digital media world in which podcast ad revenue, YouTube ad revenue fluctuates greatly. Sometimes just plumb disappears, and we are happy to enter our 11th season, our 11th year in our 12th season, and we do that on the strength of all of you who support. So if you want to support on Patreon, even if it's your last $5 and you like Sean and you can't eat, no, I'm kidding, don't do that. But get in there and support at any level that fits your needs at the moment. That's what I'll say. All right, appreciate you all. Thanks for letting me do this. Thanks for letting me hang out. We'll see you next time. You know where to find us. Links down below. You know where to find me. See you in the blathering tomorrow night. Bye.